When I got married, I thought I was signing up for a partnership, a union of equals. Love, respect, compromise, the whole package. What I didn't realize was that my wife, Jenna, had a very different idea of what marriage was supposed to look like. It started small, in the second month of our marriage. She came home from work one night with a stack of papers in her hand and a mischievous grin on her face. I thought maybe it was a board game or something playful, but instead she sat across from me at the kitchen table and said, almost proudly, "I've decided I'll be giving you a monthly performance review, just like at work, to see if you're good enough as a husband." At first, I laughed. I thought it was a joke. "That's funny," I said, reaching for the papers, but she pulled them back. "I'm serious." The grin faded, replaced by a look that told me she wasn't kidding. She opened the first page. It had bullet points, categories, ratings. Out of 10, household chores. 7-10, romantic. Gestures, 5-10, financial. Contribution, 8 to 10. Communication, 6-10, overall satisfaction, needs. Improvement. I stared at her, stunned. "You can't be serious." "I am," she said, flipping to the next page. "Look, don't take it personally. This is just to keep you accountable. To make sure you don't get lazy." Something inside me tightened. "Accountable? Jenna, we're married." "This isn't a job." She leaned back, arms crossed, that smug smile creeping back onto her face. "Marriage is work, and I don't see why I shouldn't be allowed to evaluate how my husband is performing. You should be grateful I'm being this organized." I didn't argue that night. Maybe part of me was in shock. Maybe part of me wanted to see if she'd drop the act. But she didn't. The reviews became a ritual. Every month, she'd sit me down, flip through her clipboard, and tell me how I was falling short. Sometimes it was little things. "You only took out the trash twice this week." Other times, it cut deep. "You're not romantic enough. You're not ambitious enough. You don't make me feel excited anymore." I tried at first. I bought flowers. I planned dinners. I worked harder, thinking if I could just hit her metrics, she'd finally look at me with the love she used to. But no matter what I did, the grades stayed low. Needs improvement. Always. And then came the night that broke me. It was our anniversary. I had spent weeks planning it. Reservations at her favorite restaurant, a weekend getaway, even a handwritten letter about how much she meant to me. I thought maybe this time I'll pass her review. At dinner, she barely touched her food. She spent half the night on her phone. When I handed her the letter, she skimmed it and set it aside without a word. Finally, over dessert, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "You know, I don't think you're improving fast enough. Honestly, if this were work, I'd be considering replacing you." The words hit me like a punch. She said it so casually, like she was talking about an underperforming employee, not her husband, not the man who had vowed to love her for life. Something inside me snapped. I leaned back, folded my hands, and for the first time in months, I smiled. "You're right, Jenna. You should replace me." She blinked, caught off guard. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," I said calmly, "that I'm done working for a boss instead of living with a wife. If I'm not good enough, then fire me." "Because I quit," her jaw dropped. "You can't be serious." But I was. That night when we got home, I pulled out a suitcase. While she ranted and raved about how I was being dramatic, how I was overreacting, I packed. Every shirt, every book, every reminder that I had bent over backwards to please someone who saw me as a project, not a partner. She followed me from room to room, yelling, crying, begging, alternating between insults and apologies. "You're weak!" "You can't handle criticism. Please don't do this." "I'll stop the reviews. I'll change." But it was too late. At the door, I turned to her one last time. Marriage isn't a performance review, Jenna. It's love. It's trust. It's respect. You wanted an employee, not a husband. And now you'll have neither. I left that night and never looked back. The divorce was messy. She tried to spin it, to make me look like the villain. But the truth came out. Her own words, her own reviews became evidence of the way she treated me. Friends who once thought I was lucky to have her saw the reality. She didn't want a partner. She wanted control, and me? I learned something valuable. When someone tells you they're going to judge your worth month after month, believe them. Because love isn't about grading. It's about choosing each other, flaws and all. And I chose to stop being graded.